Okay, it's 6 o'clock. We're going to call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Mr. Miller? Here. Mr. Smith? Here. Mr. Beckler? Here. Mr. Murray? Here. Mrs. Keith?
Here. This time we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Does anyone desire to add, delete, or separate any items of the consent agenda as proposed? Yes, we have 2 additions. We're going to add an administrative contract under personnel, and we'll add under other business the approval of the propane agreement. So I just need a motion to add those 2 to the agenda for the regular board meeting of July 18th, 2022.
So support.
Roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Beckler?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mrs. Keith?
Yes, motion carries. At this time, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held on June 27th of 2022 and the special board meetings held on June 27th of 2022 and July 5th of 2022.
So moved. Support.
Roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Beckler?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mrs. Keith?
Yes, motion carries. At this time, is there any board members with correspondence? Mr. Carroll? Mr. Samola?
Yes, I received a notice of resignation from Adrian Lumbreezer and Deanne Simmons.
Continue recognizing our guests and visitors.
A few guests with us. Thank you for being here. Please introduce yourself.
Joan Hunter.
Thank you.
Thank you. Being that no one has registered to address the board, we will continue on with Mr. Carroll going over the financial report.
Thank you. In your packet, a couple of reports here. The first one is the cash reconciliation report. This is showing that we are balanced to our software with the banks. We're wrapping up the fiscal year. Next page you have is the financial summary by fund. This is what we've appropriated and what we've spent for each fund. You have the cash summary report. This is the balance of each fund that we have. And the disbursement report, these are the checks that we wrote during the month of June. And you see we have a general fund report, just outlining where we stand compared to the forecast. As we wrap up the fiscal year, everything came in where we thought it would. Our cash balance is at the bottom on that graph, so you can see it is right in line, following the same trend as last year. In June, we always had a lot of reallocations happening from grants. Basically, we are paying back the general fund. So there's a lot of transactions during the month of June. And on the back, you'll see the payroll and benefits, and that's why it looks a little funny that payroll was down 11%, but really that's just shuffling money around from grants back to the general fund before the end of the year. The last report is the certificate of total amount of all sources. So this is the cash balance that we ended fiscal year 22 with, which means we are starting fiscal year 23 with those same balances. This gets submitted to the county auditor. The reports that I have for June.
Questions for Mr. Carroll? All right, we'll move on. At this time, I'll need a motion to approve those salary reports that we just reviewed, as well as to approve the certificate of total amount of all sources available for expenditures and balances for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022. This time, I just need a motion to approve the fiscal reports and other financial items. Questions or discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Beckler?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mrs. Keith?
Yes, motion carries. We'll move on to personnel. We need to accept the resignations of Adrian Lumbreezer, effective July 31st, as well as Deanne Simmons, effective August 2nd. We need to offer the following supplemental contracts for 22-23, pending the completion of all people activity permit requirements. Jeremy Root for girls Girls head golf coach. Molly Yusey, freshman volleyball coach. We need to approve the FMLA request for Lindsay Abrams beginning approximately on September 4th and ending approximately on October 17th. Then we will add in also here our addition to offer a 3-year administrative contract effective August 1st to Mary Beth Malawapsi. And at that time, we just need a motion to approve the above listed personnel positions.
So moved. Support.
Questions or discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Vaculet?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carried. Move on to other business. We will need a motion to approve the following income tax renewal resolution. A resolution determining to proceed and proposing the renewal of an annual tax levy on school district income, revised code 5748.02. We're going to jump down to section 2. The question of imposing a 0.25% school district income tax for the purpose of providing for the current expenses of the board to take effect on January 1st of 2023 and run for 5 years shall be submitted pursuant to chapter 5748 of the revised code to the electors of the school district at the election to be held on November 8th of 2022. It is found and determined, we'll jump to section 6, that all formal action of this Board of Education concerning or related to the adoption of this resolution was adopted in an open meeting of this board, and all deliberations of this board that resulted in such formal action were adopted in meetings open to the public in compliance with all applicable requirements of the Ohio Revised Code.
So moved. Support.
Question or discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Vaculet?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carried. This time we need a motion to approve school bus stops as recommended by the superintendent and the transportation coordinator. Bus routes and stops are on file with the transportation department. The board further authorizes the superintendent and or his designee to change board approved stops whenever necessary for the 22-23 school year.
So moved. Support.
Questions or discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Vaculet?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carries. We need a motion to approve the following pricing for fall high school athletic passes and for an annual all sports family pass for the 22-23 school year. Fall season pass for students, $45. Fall season pass for adults, $65. Fall season sports pass for families, $200, and then the all sports family pass is $350.
So moved. Support.
Question or discussion?
Those are pretty much the same prices.
Yeah, correct.
Roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Vaculet?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carried. This time we need a motion to approve the Evergreen Elementary, Middle School, and High School staff handbooks for the 22-23 school year as recommended by the administrators.
So moved. Support.
Questions or discussion?
I guess one question, have our new, many changes, we've got obviously some, new principals in 2 of those buildings. Did they have a chance to look at any of these handbooks?
They reviewed them with the outgoing principals, minimal changes from the previous year.
Roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Vaculet?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carries. Need a motion to approve a 5-year service contract with Northern Buckeye Educational Council to approve IP telephone managed services to every local schools at an annual cost of $25,000.68.
Full support.
Questions or discussion?
What is IP telephone managed service?
Our phone system, it's internet based instead
Okay.
of line based.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Vaculet?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carries. This time we need a motion to approve the following overnight trip for the Evergreen cross country team members, coaches, John Radarski and Stephen Dalwa, and parent chaperones to travel to Copagan State Park in Lowell, Indiana for team bonding and training purposes. Attendees will depart on July 28th and return on July 31st. Please note the trip cost will be paid through funds raised by the cross country program.
So moved. Support.
Question or discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Vaculet?
Yes.
Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper.
Yes, motion carries. At this time, we need to add in item G, approve the propane agreement. We need a motion to enter into an agreement with Lions LP Gas Company to purchase propane at $1 for one, how would I say this? $1.49 a gallon, plus all applicable taxes, fees, and charges for the period of August 1st, 22 through July 31st of 23.
So moved. Support.
Question or discussion?
What did we pay last year?
Last year was American Gas, 25 cents,
How much? 1.25?
0.25
25 cents a gallon?
on top of the
Oh.
local rate.
Gotcha.
And they are pricing it out strictly by the gallon for the upcoming year.
Okay. So what was the rate plus 25 cents a gallon last year? Do you know?
It was over $1, but under $1.50. I don't have the exact.
Okay.
The rate quoted by AmeriGas for this upcoming year was $1.69.
Thank you.
Any further discussion or question? All right, roll call.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Backwood.
Yes.
Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper.
Yes, motion carries. At this time, Mr. Simola, would you like to move on to discussion and information?
Yeah, I wanted to update the board on the income tax levy renewal committee. Since the board had approved moving forward with putting that on the ballot, we know those funds are critical for the district to maintain existing programs and services for our students. Mr. Brian Hansel, who is the MVP president and EYA secretary and a parent of elementary and middle school students, has agreed to serve as the chairman for the levy renewal committee. I want to thank Mr. Hansel for his support of our students, the district, and his willingness to help in this crucial role. Mr. Hansel is in the process of assembling committee members, developing a budget timeline, and preparing key information for the campaign. So he is working on a game plan, and I will keep the board abreast of the timeline once that is set up and he has all of his committee members in place to move forward with the renewal campaign. That, again, must be led by outside.
Have we heard back from, did you read my mind? Jeremy has my close second.
I've reached out twice, maybe even a third time. I think I sent him an email and maybe have yet to hear back.
Will they have anything for the open house?
I don't know for sure, and part of that is their budget and how they want to do it. I know they talked about signs and a social media campaign. It's what is the scope, but I am confident Mr. Hansel will do a great job, and we will get the information out to the community. Hopefully, everyone's support.
Do you have anything else, Mr. Sloan?
The other items will fall under my
David,
superintendent report.
All right. So, Mr. Henry, it's your turn.
I just want to start and say thank you to the Board of Education and the administration for letting me, giving me the opportunity to lead the athletic department here. I'm excited. We have a lot of great things going on here. I know when I was here, we didn't have a turf field, so that's something I'm really looking forward to watching our kids use. And I'm just really excited to build relationships with the students, staff, and the community members. We're getting the full swing of sports right now in the fall sports, and it appears that our numbers look really good for each sport. I think we had like 40 kids out for football. I think was close to that number. So I think that's translating up to what it's been in the past. So hopefully we retain those kids and continue to recruit them, and maybe eventually look at a freshman team potentially in the future. All of our fall coaches are set and ready to go for the August 1 start date. And again, I'm looking forward to a great fall season. I plan to sit down and evaluate all the coaches, all the head coaches at the end of the season, just touching base with them, and then talking with what they did well and what we kind of need to work on, looking forward in the future. And right now I'm finalizing fall schedules, and I'm going to be getting them printed into those little pocket calendars that I know the community loves so much. One thing I am going to change this year is instead of doing like full varsity for all sports, I'm just going to do fall, winter, and then spring, if that makes sense. Instead of just doing one, I'm going to be doing one for each sport, or for each season, I'm sorry. And then one other exciting thing that we do have going on right now is we do have the Wall of Fame. All them boards are in. So I'll be working with Brent on getting those posted up, and hopefully those should be up by the August 2nd date when we'll have the open house for the facilities walkthrough and the OHSA parent athlete meeting day. Some important dates for the fall we have coming up is the OHSA parent meeting and athletic walkthrough on August 2nd, and October 7th we'll be having our homecoming day against Bryan, and then October 21st we'll have senior night against Swan Apple. So that is what I have. Any other questions?
All right, Mr. Miller.
All right. Construction updates. The subs are coming in to finish up their punch list. We are getting closer to finishing up the locker room expansions. The handrails and guardrails need to be put in place, and the fire system needs to be finished up. Those are the two big ones that are putting us up right now. Trying to start pulling new wires to fix the issues that we're having at the end of the school year. So far, we've had 3 weeks of no fire alarms, so hopefully that fixes the issue. The prints are at the county getting approved right now, so hopefully as soon as they're approved, they will get out here and finalize everything. We ran fiber optics to the women's locker room and to the press box, so that we can gain internet back in our area, back in that area for cameras and phones and whatever we need to add to later on date. And then the press box will give us internet out of the football field, so that it'll be easier to broadcast the games and stuff like that. The epoxy floor by the kitchen that was damaged by the freezer was repaired today. Tomorrow I meet with Perkins to get the date on paving. I'm assuming they want to do it quickly since they're down on County Road S right now working. We started watering the fields in July, at the beginning of the week, July 1st around there. So they've been watered for about 3 weeks now. The football field with the goal post and the soccer field are lined already. And we'll have the junior high field when they start practicing July 1st, we'll put that one ready to, or August 1st. That one will be ready to go. The garage door for the old concession stand is ordered and should be here before August. They're hoping the first or second week it'll be replaced. The custodians have got pretty much all the classrooms are waxed and ready to go. The hallways will be finished up this week, and cafeteria will probably finish up next week. Is our plan right now. They've done a nice job getting the stuff cleaned up and ready to go. And then I need to say thank you to Girl Scout Troop 1007 for repainting playgrounds and sprucing them back up where it is start fading, stuff like that. We'll be getting the mulch and flower beds, or mulch and flower beds in the playgrounds for August. Get those looking better. Any questions?
Did Tyler Athletics small?
Tyler Athletics never came out. Dura Edge, this new company came out and walked with Derek and I, and Jim was there as well back in March, April. Haven't heard anything back from, or got a quote from them. And then Brad Morrison is supposed to come out this week for I'll be back. To jump on through and see what they can do.
Further questions? All right. Mr. Camola.
Few items to touch on personnel wise. All teachers and classroom aide positions are filled. We will hold a new staff orientation on August 4th to get everyone acclimated to the district. We are still in need of a high school counselor and an EMIS coordinator. Both positions are posted and hopefully will be filled soon. Timing is tough at this time with the 2 late notices of resignation. So we're working hard to get those 2 filled, but all teaching positions are filled. Our maintenance department, custodial staff, and summer employees have been working hard to prepare all facilities for the start of the school year. Buildings are coming together and looking good and on schedule to be ready for the year to start with no issues. Transportation department has been preparing the bus fleet for operation at the start of the school year. I want to thank them for their hard work to provide safe transportation for our students. Our latest edition of the Viking Navigator went out at the end of June to all homes in the district. Next week, we will be getting to the printer and sending out our district annual review that will recap the past year and look at future district initiatives and projects. So, letting people know the good things that are happening within the school district. Any questions?
Do we have a date for counselor interviews yet? Or
It is just posted until filled, so as soon as an application comes in of someone qualified, we're bringing them in to interview them right away. So we're not waiting to set up a set interview day.
Okay.
We need to fill that as soon as possible, so.
Any other questions? All right, any board members with questions and concerns?
I have a quick question. I know concerning school safety, typically there's a walk, at least a walkthrough with our SRO, correct? Does Roy come out and walk, or does anyone else from the sheriff's department come out and walk as well?
Major Smithmeyer has been out and walked around, and Sheriff Miller has as well.
Okay, just want to make sure we stay on top of that. It's a high priority to me to make sure that we're staying on top of that.
And with a new SRO coming to the district, I plan to meet with them, and we have some expectations laid out for the position in addition to the SRO job description.
Thank you.
I just want to recognize the Dowling family. Patsy and Pat were, they're members of our community, and they donated money to the music boosters. They have no kids here. I mean, their kids graduated in the 80s. They show up to every sporting event, every musical, everything. And I thought that was nice for the Dowlings to donate money to the music boosters. So it's a great family. I just wanted to recognize that they donated money in Patsy's name.
All right. So at this time, we just need a motion to adjourn the July 18th, 2022 regular meeting of the Evergreen Local Board of Education.
So moved. Support.
Roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Dacula?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mrs. Keefer?
Yes, motion